We're back with another DTF hack using our inkjet printer. If you guys seen recently, we released a tutorial showing you guys how to accomplish this DTF hack using your inkjet printer instead of your sublimation printer, and it kind of was a success, except for we lost a little bit of color. Now, we heard you guys loud and clear with over 528 comments. You guys gave us some really good recommendations, so we're going to put those to test today. Hi, I'm Crystal. Welcome to Design Bundle's YouTube channel. If you guys are new here, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell down below so you don't miss any of our crafting tutorials. I am so excited for this tutorial today. I'm ready to put your guys' tips to test. So a few of those we seen was to let it set for 24 hours. And you know what? I think you're 100% right on that. I would leave it between 24 and 72 hours. We're going to leave ours for 24 just to do that minimum to see if it's actually going to work. And if it don't, we can always come back and test it again, or I could test it and let you guys know in the comments. But we're going to do 24 hours today. Now, another one that I want to test is pressing it again. So once we press it and peel it with a cold, we're going to put it back in and press it for another 20 seconds, as one of you guys had said. And another one that I want to try is to go ahead and seal it. So basically we're going to put it under the heat press, let that adhesive melt, and then while it's still warm, we're going to coat it one more time and seal it again. So those are a few things that we're going to put to test. So we are going to be doing two of the colors. So we're going to be using this design right here today. I want to see some really bright and vibrant colors. So it's perfect for spring, right? Everybody loves coffee, and this is going to be an awesome design. I'm going to do it on a white t-shirt so that way we can get that best pop of color. So on one of the t-shirts, we're going to put to test doing the extra press and leaving it for the 24 hours. On another one, we're going to coat it for the second time and also leave it for the 24 hours. Then, like I told you guys in my last tutorial, I really think this would be perfect for the black ink, solid black ink designs, because the color stayed so good with that black ink. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one on a tote bag that you could obviously just leave, and then you don't even have to wash it, because you don't have to technically wash a tote bag, which you could also do with the color. So this is something you could really accomplish with that hack without losing any colors. Now, another thing I'm going to do is that same design on a t-shirt so that way we can wash it just to see if that theory is correct. But we're also going to do the same thing where we allow it to set for 24 hours. But for this one, I'm not going to add an extra press. I'm not going to add extra adhesive or anything, just so we can kind of see about that as well. So here we go. Today we're going to be using the Canon printer here. Once again, this is inkjet. This is not sublimation. This is not converted. This is simply using your inkjet printers. I scored this guy at Walmart a long time ago for 45 bucks. They still sell it. I'll link it down below, because I know how it is. Sometimes you're watching those tutorials and you're like, you know what, I want that exact same printer because I think that's the one. So we've got it linked down below for you guys, just in case you guys are interested. You can run down honestly to your local Walmart and snag the guy. All right, so we're gonna be using this design right here. The first thing that we need to do is flip this guy, right? So all you simply have to do is hover up here at the top, make sure your screen is selected. You're gonna go to Tools, and then from Tools, we're simply going to flip horizontal, so that way this guy is gonna be mirrored for us. Next, we're simply just gonna go over to File, and then Print. So from here, what I like to do, because with this guy, the wheels, I don't want the wheels touching any of the ink, what I like to do is go to Scale. So I'm just going to select that. And right now it says it's at 46%. And honestly, I think that's enough room. But if you have almost edge to edge, I'd bring it down about 80%. That's what I did with my last design. And you may see it with the black one. We don't know. We may have to do that. Now, something that I also seen somebody talk about was changing the color options. So media quality, you can see that you could definitely go here. You could click on that. You could choose paper type. Mine's on auto. So somebody said to choose glossy photo paper, and they said that that quality of the ink would be even better. So you know what? Let's try that with our first print just to see if it works out. So we're going to try that as well with one of these. And I have to remember to mark this guy whenever we're done. All right. So here we go. So I think everything is ready to go. So before I hit print, we got to prep our printer. So with this, I have discovered that if you put a stack of papers here, I just have some cardstock, just put a stack of those here, and it will help feed through the film. Now, for our supplies here, we have this transfer powder right here. You guys know that I've been using this for quite some time. I'll link it down below. It's my absolute favorite, and I have found amazing success with this guy. Wash after wash after wash. There's no smell to it. Love it. A little is going to go a long ways, and I think it's affordable. You're going to get so many shirts out of this guy. I'm still going on the same one, right? So you're going to need your transfer powder, and this is, it may say white or clear. Honestly, it's clear. So like I said, it's linked down below. And then you're going to need some film. Your package may look different from mine. There's other ones out there. I'm going to link you guys directly to the ones that I have purchased. In the beginning, these guys were sold out, but I do believe you can snag them now. And so what it's going to look like, I'm going to snag one out of here, is this. You're going to have a glossy side, and then you're going to have a matte side. So you are going to be printing on the matte side. You really want to keep your fingers and paws off of this, and so that's what we are going to do. So once you have your paper loaded in your printer, you're just going to guide this guy all the way down, and it is going to allow, and if it's not going all the way, sometimes I just pull my paper up, and there you go. It's going to allow, the paper is going to allow this guy to be pushed through here. I'm really excited to see how it goes on the glossy. Now, just for a tip, I did the auto last time, and it worked just fine. Okay, so while we do this, as we're going to hit print, I'm going to have my powder ready, because when this comes out, the ink is wet, and you want to do this ASAP. So I've got a piece of parchment paper right down here, and then we've got our powder ready to go. So I'll go ahead and prep this guy and just get it ready to go. So here we go. So we're going to go ahead and hit print. I try to scoot this guy back just a little bit, so hopefully you guys can see it come through. Like I said, I'm nervous about switching the paper because the auto worked perfect, but here we go. And it's going through. So far, glossy's working just fine. So like I said, one of my biggest tips to you is to make sure there is enough room for the wheels on the side, so that way it's not getting the ink, because then obviously it's going to mess up your design. So you just want to make sure that there's enough room for your wheels. I will say, I think the glossy setting is going a little bit slower, so I'm hoping that my ink does not dry too fast in between. So there is something there with that. Here we go. Perfect. These colors are gorgeous. Oh my gosh, I'm going to bring it up so you guys can see. Look at that. All right, so here we go. Working quickly. I don't want to mess around because it took a little bit longer. So you're just going to get some on here like so, and then we're just going to bump it from one side to the next. And I like to do this a few times, just kind of going back and forth to make sure I did not miss a thing. All right, there we go. And we will be able to put this excess back in there. So you're gonna shake off, any of that excess. Now, for today, it is very hard to hover your Cricut Easy Press over this guy, so you would need to hold it for a minute. Now, if that's all you have, that's all you have. I would recommend setting this guy on the base here, on the base of your heat press, and then just kind of hovering above that, or even on your table or whatever. But since I do have a bigger heat press here, I love my swing away because it has that little gap. I'm going to use that today. So I'm going to go ahead and slide this guy underneath. And we're going to leave that guy there for at least a minute. And then as soon as it's done, we're going to quickly go ahead and we're going to sprinkle it one more time. All right, so I've got it. We're going to go over it one more time. Now, one thing I've noticed when I try to cure mine, and that was a little bit longer than 60 seconds, mine does not completely go to color. How I see other people, you can really just see the color. I still just see powder. I even brought that heat press down just a little bit more without touching it. But I do think it's warm enough to get our powder on there. All right, so we're gonna shake it off. So it is coated a second time. I can see that there. So let's go ahead and slide it underneath one more time. All right, let's do that. I'm gonna turn my Cricut Easy Press on because it has fell asleep twice on us. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna close that just a little bit again, just for that 60 seconds, and then we're gonna get ready to press it. All right, so one thing I have discovered with getting that color to kind of come through, so hopefully you guys can see this. I'm gonna bring it over so you guys can see a little bit better from this direction there. So instead of seeing the powder, I can really see the color. What I did was I heated up the bottom platen first, so it got it up to that 385, then slid this in. So this side was baking underneath and then the top, and I noticed those colors come through. So that's a little tip if you guys do have a bigger heat press. If you guys have the clamshell, you can hold it there or whatever you wanna do. All right, so let's go ahead and get ready to press it. T-shirt number 1, these are just Gildan and these are 100% cotton. If you want to do test runs, I highly recommend going to your Dollar Tree because they got t-shirts for $1.25, or even go to a thrift store. You can grab them for $1, grab some used t-shirts. So we're gonna go ahead and get this on the heat press. I'm gonna press it for a few seconds to pull out any sort of moisture and smooth everything down. Our t-shirt is pressed and ready to go, so I'm going to go ahead and get this guy laid down, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and press it. Now, you don't need parchment paper or anything on top because honestly, your inks are not gonna come through this. You could tape it down if you want to because there is a chance of it moving, but I'm just gonna go ahead and place this guy down. Now, if you do have any of those powders that could come off, be careful to make sure when you press this down, you're gonna get it right where you want it to be. So for our first one, we're gonna go ahead and do the 385 for 40 seconds. So we're gonna just use this bigger heat press today. We're down to our last few seconds, so let me go ahead and get ready to grab it. Now, when it comes to your DTF hack, whether you guys are using a sublimation printer or an inkjet, you want to let this guy completely cool down. That is very, very important. I have also found that, say for example, if you're using a bigger heat press or even your Cricut, make sure you have good pressure. I had quite success doing it with my Cricut Easy Press and using the pressure we normally do. I did it with the Cricut Easy Press on a tote bag with a black design a while back for an Instagram post, and if you don't have that pressure, you could pill a few spots. So definitely make sure you have your pressure for that. So I think this guy's almost cooled down. Now remember, for this one, we are also going to go back and press it again with a parchment paper for 20 seconds. So I think we're cooled down. I think we're good to go. So let's go ahead and try to peel it. So here we go. Oh my gosh, and it is a success and it is gorgeous. And I love it too. It is so soft. This is just like the sublimation hack where it is soft and it's amazing, but we're just trying to preserve the colors. So we're trying to figure that out. All right, so this is the thought process. So I think whoever said to go on top again for 20 seconds, I really think you have something there, because the problem is the back side is sealed with your adhesive, right? Holding that ink. But the top side doesn't really have that. So I do feel like if we press it one more time, it is going to press those inks in. So I'm gonna get a fresh parchment paper just because that does have DTF powder. I don't wanna get it on my press. So I'm gonna get this guy back on the press and we're gonna get ready to do it one more time. I'm gonna cover it with that parchment paper. Now remember, we're only gonna press it for 20 seconds. There we go. So I'm gonna keep an eye on that guy. Now, possibly we could probably get away with 5 to 10 seconds, but we're gonna do the 20 seconds because I love listening to y'all, and we're gonna put it to the full test. So remember, this one has the glossy settings. This one has the second coat of the adhesive, and this one has been pressed for the second time. And there you guys have it. Now, you guys let me know. I almost feel like we need to put a side by side. I feel like pressing it for the second time, we honestly lost some color. Is it just me, or did we not lose some color? I feel like we could almost kind of rewind. You guys can pause this, rewind backwards where we showed it the first time, and then fast forward. I'll have to do that when I'm done recording here. But I almost feel like when we went back and pressed it for the second time, we lost a little bit of that color, like it pushed it down into itself. So that was kind of interesting. But maybe at this point when we wash it, it will actually stay. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set this guy aside. I'm definitely gonna make a note with a Sharpie on this so that way I know what we did for this one, and we're gonna set it aside and let it sit for 24 hours. So I'm thinking here, I'm almost thinking, since I feel like we lost a little bit of color of pressing it for the second time, I'm going to not press it for the second time. I'm not gonna add the adhesive for the second time, and I'm just simply gonna let it set for the 24 hours. So here we go. So I'm gonna print our second one, and we're gonna get ready to press it. Step one, let's go ahead and add in our film. Put that guy down in there. Perfect. And then we're gonna do the same thing. Now this is still mirrored, so we're good to go. So we are just gonna go to File, Print. Now for this one, I'm going to leave it on the auto just to show you guys. And so let's see here, let's double check that we are on the auto. It's on auto, so everything is good to go. And this one, we're just simply gonna go ahead and hit print. Now this is also gonna allow me to know if it prints slower or if I was just you know, I'm just overthinking. So we've got everything ready. You hear that? I'm telling you, I feel like it's printing so much faster. We'll find out. Now I have decided not to use the Cricut Easy Press today. I started out that I was going to, but I've decided not to because in our previous video, we did use that. So if you guys want to see how to do this with your Cricut Easy Press, definitely make sure you guys check that one out because it was a success. Because I've already got this guy fired up and ready to go. So I'm going to keep using that. I do feel like it went a little bit faster, but honestly, I could be wrong. Okay, here we go. So we're gonna go ahead and coat this guy. Just get a nice little amount there. And we're gonna go from one side to the next. And once again, I like to kind of go a few times back and forth, just in case you miss a little spot. You are gonna be good to go. There we go. Now for this one, I'm not gonna do what's called the curing, which I stick underneath, and that's what I did last time. So technically, the curing is going to allow you to set it aside and save it for later, or if you were selling these and you were shipping them off, that is what the curing is gonna do. It's gonna make sure your powders don't go anywhere. But if you are going to be making this right away, you honestly do not have to do that. I have discovered that between doing the hack with the sublimation ink, but I know that is a question that a lot of people ask because you see other people do it, and they're doing it because, I mean, that's just what you see in the DTF world because those transfers are being sold. All right, so here we go. So I'm gonna get the next t-shirt ready just as we did last time, and we're gonna get ready to press it. Once again, we're just pre-pressing to smooth everything out and pull out any sort of moisture. We're gonna let that quickly cool for just a second, and then we're gonna get ready to place it. So once again, my powders are not cured, so I'm just gonna make sure I place this guy one time only. And there we go. So we've got this guy going. So once again, this was just using the auto settings. I've just mirrored it, simply printed this guy out, and we're pressing it. We're gonna peel it cold. I'm not gonna press it again. I'm just simply gonna let this one set for 24 hours. So we're gonna repeat the exact same process we did in the first tutorial, just letting it set that 24 hours. Once again, we need to let this guy completely cool down. You guys can see how bright and vibrant those colors are. I knew I'm not crazy. We're definitely fixing to find out, so I'm gonna be able to put this guy side by side, because look at that. See how the colors are down from where I pressed it again? And so we're gonna see when we peel this without that second press, we're gonna actually be able to see that. So I didn't even think about that, but this guy's almost cooled down, so we're gonna let that finish cooling down and get ready to peel it. And I promise you guys, don't rush this process because you will have peel marks. I highly recommend that you wait for this guy to cool down. Don't rush yourself because that is where you're gonna see mistakes happen. All right, so this guy is cooled down, so here we go. It almost seems like, okay, I thought I was gonna lose just a little bit. It almost seemed like right here, and I'm not sure what happened there. But there we go. Let me put this guy side by side so I can show you the colors. So as you guys can see, I was not crazy, and if you were seeing the same thing, you're not crazy. So we definitely did lose the color, so it's almost like it did. So I really think how this is gonna stay now because it pushed those colors and they're kind of just floating in between, because I feel like that adhesive almost gives it a haze on top, if that makes sense. So it's really kind of crazy that that's what happened, honestly. I don't know, science. But this color did stay. So it'll be interesting to leave it for 24 hours to see if it is a success. So you could be adding more damage by adding more, adding a second coat. So we're gonna test it, we're gonna find out. So I'm gonna go ahead and mark these guys. I've got a pin here because these are just test t-shirts, unfortunately. Or, you know, honestly, I could put it in a corner. What do y'all think? I'm gonna do it on the inside of the t-shirt that way in case. Well, you're probably still gonna see through it. It's fine. Okay, so for this one here, this is going to be, we're gonna put glossy. So we're gonna have a G for gloss, right? G for gloss. We're gonna put 2 for 2 coats and 2 presses. We're gonna put 2 and 2, okay? So 2 for 2 coats and 2 for 2 presses. There we go. And so for this one, I don't have to write on it at all because we know it's just as normal. Okay, so we're gonna set these guys out of the way. For our next design, we're gonna be using this bundle right here. It comes with 20 designs, and these are perfect for those totes, but I'm gonna go ahead and put the same image on a t-shirt just so we can see that color wash, all right? Because I'm not gonna wash the tote bag, but I wanna show you how vibrant it's gonna be on that tote bag without a wash, because you could do the same thing with the color, like I said, and we're gonna be using this guy right here. Now that we've got our design ready to go, we are going to click on that image, go to Tools, and we are going to flip horizontal. From here, we're gonna go to that file and then select print. And then for this one here, this is where I was talking about. This is gonna get in my wheel marks and I don't want that. So we're actually gonna go over here to scale, and I'm going to scale that down. So it's at 58%, which is crazy. So we know that obviously, it's weird. Last time it was at 100%, I brought it to 80. I don't know how sometimes this things. So I'm gonna go ahead and do 40, and that is just too little for me. So I'm gonna do 45. I think 45 gives us enough room. So that's enough room to work with. For this one, I'm gonna once again leave it on the, just the auto, because I did see that success with that. And so before we hit print, we're gonna load it in our printer, right? So we're gonna get us another piece. And I don't know, I've never loaded 2 at a time, and I don't really want to test it today. It scares me. 1 at a time. And so we're gonna go ahead and hit print. And in the meantime, I'm going to prep up our area so we can get ready. So for this one, we're gonna go ahead and do our t-shirt first, and then we're gonna get ready for the tote bag. All right, that was fast since we're using black ink, and look at this black ink. It's gorgeous. So right now, as of today, I really highly recommend using this. I think I could have gotten a much bigger design, but I got to figure out the wheel marks. All right, so we've got to figure out how far we can actually go on that to be a success. So I'm gonna go ahead and get a little bit on there like that. Now I've seen where people put this in buckets, so you could keep it in a little bucket and kind of go through like this, a little, you know, a little tote from the Dollar Tree or something like that, a little storage bin. You definitely feel free to do this however you'd like. All right, so we're gonna just off that excess, and this guy is ready to go. So I'm gonna load our t-shirt one more time. We're gonna press, get out that moisture. We're gonna get ready to put this on here. Once again, not gonna seal it or anything like that. I'm going to load it. And we're gonna press it. And actually on my bigger heat press, it's 45 seconds because I was too lazy to change it back down to 40, and I realized that. So I've been doing 45 seconds on there, but honestly, you can get away with 40. Now we are gonna use the Cricut Easy Press. I've decided to go ahead and do it on the tote to avoid these pressing seams. If not, you wanna use a pressing pillow, but Lord knows where that's at today. So we're gonna go ahead and do one of these with a Cricut Easy Press. All right, so we're down to our last few seconds. Now remember, this one is just gonna be washed to see how that black ink holds up. Once again, we're gonna peel this gold, so I'm gonna let it cool down for just a second. And it will be interesting to know if that was kind of just a fluke and that black in the design stayed true, or whether it's gonna be the black ink, because that's gonna be amazing. I mean, if you can at least accomplish this with black ink, that's gonna be amazing in itself. We'll take it. There are so many different things you can do with just a black ink solid design. So we'll take it, all right? So here we go. So let this guy cool down, and we're getting ready to pill it. All right, so let's go ahead and get ready to pill. Now, one thing that I noticed right away is this little piece is wanting to pill up here, and that's the same area. And see, I've got a tiny bit right there. It's almost like HTV. It is the weirdest thing. It's almost like if you peeled a little corner of your heat transfer vinyl. I don't know what is happening with those, if I need just a tiny bit more pressure, but other than that, it looks great. And I'm telling you, it is insane because it feels like heat transfer vinyl. It literally feels like we put some Caesar Easy Weed on here. It is the absolute coolest thing. It is so, so cool. Really, really love this. It is awesome. So we're gonna see how that black holds up. So once again, this guy is gonna set for 24 hours. All right, so here we go. We're going to load our transfer sheet here. So we're gonna get that in there. And then we're gonna get that guy out of the way. We've got our powder ready to go. So same thing, we're already flipped, we're already ready to go. We're gonna go ahead and hit file, and we are going to hit print. So from here, I'm gonna leave everything. I'm going to try, let's see here, because the wheels, we did 45, and that was really small. So for this one here, I'm gonna go ahead and do 50. And that should be pretty good. We're gonna do it at 50. Is that what we did last time? You know how quickly I forget what I've done. We're gonna go ahead and hit print and get ready to code it. Now, if you guys have stuck with me this far, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us here today. I love testing these DTF hacks. You guys let me know in the comments below, what do you think I should do different? If this comes out that there's something off, what is there something that you are dying to see me test with this theory next? Is there something else you want me to put it on that we wouldn't wash or we would wash? Is there a certain color? Maybe you want to see an all red design or something like that, just to see if the solid colors. Let me know down below. So I like this. This is a little bit bigger here. So we are going to go, unless it's not, it may be the same, honestly. Like I said, I forget from one second to the next. Here we go. We're going to coat that guy. There we have it. Boom, boom, boom. Just making sure everything is coating, because I'm trying to make sure if that's what happened. I'm like, did we accidentally miss a little piece? We're going to shake it off. And there we go. I'm going to go ahead and put this powder up. I've got my transfer over there just hovering underneath the heat press while I wait to get this guy ready to go, and that way I can try to cure those a little bit just to see if I lose anything this time. So we did do that. All right, so we are ready. We've got our Cricut heat pad here. I've got a tote bag. I like to grab these from Hobby Lobby. They are $1.49, I believe, and then we're going to use the Cricut Easy Press because it's going to allow me to avoid those seams. Now, one thing that I like to do, see this bottom here, if I feel like I'm going to get on top of that at all, you could definitely kind of tuck this down and under. That way my press will kind of butt up against it. If not, you could put your press just in this direction here. There we have it. So I've got my press 385 for 40 seconds. We're going to go in here. So see how I'm able to nestle right inside of those seams there? And we're just going to pull out any sort of moisture and just smooth everything down for just around 5 seconds or so. Looks good. Now we're going to take our design so you guys can see some of the design came through and cured those powders, and some of it didn't. So definitely heat that lower platen, and then it should help really do those powders. I feel like it's like I really needed to go on there one more time, and I think it really would have melted those down. So this guy is good. So we are going to place it right about here. Now, once again, I'm not going to worry about taping this down or anything, but this one I am going to go ahead and go on top with a parchment, just because I am using my Cricut Easy Press and I don't want to accidentally get anything on here, even though I know it's got that cover. We're gonna hit go and we're going to press this guy for 40 seconds. So you wanna make sure that you are giving nice, even pressure. So you can see I've got both arms on here, just not pressing any buttons. And that way we have nice, even pressure. Now also, let me know in the comments below, have you guys tried this inkjet hack? And if you have, what have you found for success? Did you leave it for 24 or was it 72 hours? What did you do? Or are you planning on trying this? And if you are, what are you gonna make first? All right, so we are done here. We're gonna carefully pop this guy off, remove our parchment, remove our pad here, because if we don't, it's not gonna cool this guy down. So we're gonna let this guy just kind of cool down here. Now remember, the really cool thing about a tote bag is you don't have to wash it. So your colors are gonna stay 100% pristine. So I know I've said it several times, but you could definitely accomplish this with colors. So think of those items that you can actually apply to. Your hat, using your Cricut hat press, you could put designs on your hat. I mean, think outside of the box. If you're gonna be making a tea towel that is just decorative, you could definitely do things like that. Makeup bags, pencil pouches, you could personalize them with the names. So many different things that you guys could accomplish. All right, so we've let this guy completely cool down. So now we're gonna get a corner and pill. And this one corner still wants to come off. So I have no idea. Y'all let me know, what do you think is happening? And look, a little piece, almost wanted to do that there. But other than that, it is good to go. So I have no idea. The same spot both times on the market. I have no idea, but this is so cute. It is adorable. You guys can see that there. I love it. So now we can go to the grocery store in style and grab the few things that we need. Love, love, love this idea, and especially the fact that we don't have to wash these and it is going to last. So no matter what, even if we are losing a little bit of color with this inkjet hack, it still works for other things. So don't give up. If you guys don't have a sublimation printer, you don't want to invest in a sublimation printer, you definitely don't want to sublimate in a DTF printer when you're just a crafter, because Lord knows what that costs. But you want to accomplish something like this, you can definitely do it. So I'm really, really excited about it. So I'm going to go ahead and wash our shirts and we'll be back in 24 hours. The results are in and you guys are going to be a little bit shook, okay? I feel like there was maybe a minute improvement. We have learned some things. Some things definitely didn't pan out, but there is something amazing with one of these. Okay, so I'm actually really, really pumped. I still think it was a huge success. I'm going to say that right off the bat, but let's go ahead and get into it. For our first t-shirt, I want to start off with having you guys guess. I want you guys to pause this video and I want you guys to guess down below, because this is going to be fun, which t-shirt this is. Now remember, I wrote on the inside of one of these t-shirts that we pressed it twice, we applied the adhesive to it twice, and we did the glossy paper settings. So I would like you guys to comment down below which one you think this is. Is this one the one where we just simply printed it out on auto, applied our transfer powder and pressed it? We didn't cure, we didn't do anything like that. Or is it the one where we put in the extra work to see if there would be any sort of improvement, right? We already see the color has washed out, but guess. I definitely want you guys to guess down below. Here we go. This one right here is the exact same as the one that we did in our previous tutorial. So this one, we simply printed it out on auto, and then we just put the powder, we didn't seal it or anything, and we pressed it, right? We didn't press it twice. We did add leaving it for 24 hours. I do think that there was a minute improvement from the last one. I feel like our colors, the blacks are still there. So the blacks are still true. And so that's one thing I was like, okay, here we go, because that's what I'm talking about. The blacks for some reason do stay. This one almost washed out just a little bit, but I almost feel like that was kind of the design too. We'll have to reference back. You can always go back to the beginning of the video and go back and forth. I did that last time and it was really cool to see that. But like I said, the only difference I did with this one compared to the last one was letting it sit for 24 hours. I am very curious. I definitely think we don't have to do a whole other tutorial on it, but I definitely think I will be doing another t-shirt, leaving it for 72 hours, washing it, and just seeing if there is a difference in it. So I will say there was a minute improvement on that. If not, it could be the same for all I know. Here we go. Y'all ready? Y'all ain't ready for this. You're going to be shook. This is going to be the one where we pressed it twice, added the transfer powder twice, added the glossy settings, bum, 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 and I will show you the inside of these shirts just so you guys can believe me. So this one here, I honestly thought that this is the one. I thought that this was this one, and I looked and I was like, my pin markings are gone. No. They're in here. So if we actually flip this back, you guys are going to see the markings are in there. Hopefully you guys can pick that up there. I'll bring it up closer in a minute. I don't want to reveal the last one just yet. This is the crazy thing. The black, we even lost the black on this one. So you guys see when we pressed it with the heat press for the second time, it's like we lost the colors. This is my theory on this. I feel like the powder almost has like a transparent, almost haze to it, like I talked about previously. So I almost feel like the color is just trapped in the middle at this point. I feel like it drew the color downwards and inwards and that adhesive out, and I feel like that adhesive is just trapped in the center of this one. So this is applying it twice, like I said, all of those things, and pressing it after the fact. So remember, we pressed it for the 20 seconds like I'm talking about, and we lost the color there. So I definitely say if we press it for a second time, I don't know if it's just the fact that we did 20 seconds instead of maybe like a 5-second. I'm not sure, but it definitely, I feel like it just pushed the inks in. That's my theory. I feel like we don't want to do that. I feel like just letting it sit for the 24 to 72 hours. So it would be kind of interesting, even like I said, we don't have to do a whole tutorial off this, but testing it again, doing the second coat, the glossy settings, but without pressing it for the second time, there could be some improvements here. But we even lost the black. I know, I'm just as shook. It is absolutely crazy. And the other thing that I noticed, you guys probably cannot see it here, is this yellow. So it's almost like it pulled all the yellow out and the yellow kind of floated on here. Now I will say, if you guys have been following me for a while and we go way back to where we even did tests with using an inkjet printer with the printable HTV, you guys know that I've never really been a fan of that over the years, because whenever the shirt gets wet, whether you're at a birthday party and you're getting wet by the pool or you wash it, those colors bleed. I've always struggled with that. And one thing I've really noticed with ink is that the inkjet is that yellow will bleed for some reason. So I'm curious if like it was an all blue design or an all red and it was saturated with that single color and not mixed, if it would hold its value. I'm very curious on that. You guys comment down below, what is something that your mind is going, or do you guys think that this is just it? Now, like we talked about before, if you applied it on here, whether it was color or black, and you put it on a tote bag, something that is not going to get washed, a hat, you're going to have amazing success with that because you're not having the risk of washing that out. So definitely this is a perfect hack for that. So I really think that it is a win-win. So now let's get into our last t-shirt. This one, I definitely think is gonna shook. Like, you thought that this shook us, right? We thought that this, I really thought like there was some sort of hope. I thought maybe once I washed it, the color would come back, something, okay? You're not gonna believe this. 100% success. Look at this. The black is insane. I'm gonna bring it up so you guys can see that a little bit better. 100%. So when it is a solid color, that's why I say I wonder if it's solid blue or solid red or whatever. So you know that we have, is it cayenne? You guys know we have yellow, cayenne, magenta, and then black is usually what it's consisted of. So if it was all that one color, I'm very curious if it will stay. The crazy thing is, it just feels like adhesive vinyl. It feels like a very thin layer of that. So nice, so smooth. I got a tiny little wrinkling going on here because when you do this design, definitely make sure that your t-shirt has been pre-shrunk if it's not already, because you can potentially have this shrink just a tiny bit. It's amazing. It is so cool. I'm gonna bring it up here one more time so you guys can see that saturation. So with the black, it does not matter. It doesn't matter if you put it on a garment that needs to be washed or not. The black is 100% a huge success. You could take any of our SVGs and turn them to a solid black, but we have so many solid black SVGs as well, just like this one. Now, obviously this should be on a tote bag. I put it on the t-shirt. But imagine being able to quickly create a design like this and not having to weed out your HTV and all of those things, and being able to pull off this hack at home with your inkjet printer, not having to invest into a sublimation printer or a DTF printer or any of those things. And a lot of times you can even grab these inkjet printers for like 20 something bucks. The powder in that paper is going to last you a very long time. So you guys, let me know in the comments below, are you guys going to be trying this with the black ink? Are you guys excited that it was actually successful? This is one of the things I talked about in the beginning of the video. The last time we did it was that we should come back and do this, but then you guys had some amazing ideas, which I was so excited to put to test. And yes, I mean, it's trial and error, and that's why I love doing this stuff for you guys, because then you guys don't have to waste product and all of that, and you guys all get to come hang out with me. So please show us the love down below. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you guys are shocked, if you really thought one was going to work over the other, or if there was something that you commented and I didn't get to that you think definitely would be successful. I would love to hear it. And if there's something else you definitely just want to see me put to test with the inkjet printers, or if we want to test it with a laser, I don't know. Does anybody think that it would work with a laser printer? Is it wet enough for that to happen? I don't know. Somebody let me know in the comments below. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Once again, if you guys are not new here, make sure you guys consider hitting the subscribe button as well as that notification bell down below. And for you guys that have been following us and have subscribed and hit that notification bell, thank you so much for your love and support. And we'll see you guys on the next one.